there hasn't been a motion picture about Turner, so I thought it's about time we made one. He is a great painter. He's one of the great painters in the world, and he's obviously the greatest of the English painters. His work invites a movie. It is cinematic, and the more I looked into it, the more I realised that. The more I looked into it, apologies. The more I realised that Turner, as a character, as a personality, this conflicted, eccentric, passionate guy, ticked all the boxes for a potential character in a Mike Leigh film. The tension between this guy and this sublime, epic work invited an inevitable movie. I feel very strongly that this is about period films in general. But I mean, sometimes such films suffer from a feeling that somehow things have got to be tempered for a contemporary audience. Yes. That it shouldn't look too antique, or that the language should be modified so that the audience can understand it. That the actresses shouldn't wear corsets because it's not very sexy, etc. Now, this results in a kind of halfway house that you neither believe in as being contemporary, you certainly don't believe in it as being there. What we've striven to do, and I mean it's interesting to hear Susie and Dick from this point of view, is to say, let's make everything as accurate as we can. We know perfectly well that if you jump in a time machine and went back to Turner's world, what you would experience would probably bear no resemblance to this film at all. But obviously, this is only our notional manifestation. But we've gone as far as we can to be what we think and feel is accurate, precise, without being documentary. Because obviously, it's an impressionistic film. A distinguished French film critic, whom some of you probably know, took great offence at the portrait of Ruskin when he showed the film at Cannes, because he thought it was an attack on critics in general. And since we are in this august gathering, I'd like to announce that that is not the case. That is not the intention. You know, we just started to think, look at Ruskin and his relationship with his parents, the way he was cosseted and protected and spoilt, and you know, he was a kind of prick. It just seemed natural to, you know, I mean, Turner was he not? He was a great supporter of Turner, although went through a negative patch. Turner kind of tolerated him, took the piss out of him a bit, didn't he, really? Turner, in making Hannibal and his elephants tiny in the distance, dwarfed by eternity and the epic landscape and the elements, is making an implicit statement about, I mean, in the scene, Turner actually says hubris. And somehow, if I think this is answering your question, what I've tried to do throughout the film, apart from making sure that we, through the action and never separate from the action, look at the various paintings and bring them into focus, is also implicitly to imply, to talk about what Turner's preoccupations were, what Turner's sense of life is in the painting. I think, personally, what's interesting about Turner's discovery of that collision with photography, and I think he's being reflective. I'm sure we agree to him. He's being reflective when he says, you know, he sees that it will affect painting. For me, what's interesting is that before Turner came across photography in the late 1840s, he'd got there, he'd been there already, he was already, reference to the last question, he was already anticipating the Impressionists, anticipating 20th century art. He'd already challenged the figurative status quo.